brothers my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep words with my soul, CJ I, now I gotta roll with ice. No rush, go move dumb, back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace and gloves. Now you gotta do a run up. My name came up a lot, it sounds more when I was not around.
What's up, guys? Alex here from Audio Edges, and today we're going to be showing you guys 5 rap vocal effects that I think you're absolutely going to love. Some of them are a little easier, some of them sound really crazy and complicated, but they're not that hard to do, and it's going to sound incredible in your productions and really help take it to the next level. A couple of these I haven't seen anywhere else, and I think it's gonna blow your mind. If you love this video and you want to help support the channel, make sure to subscribe, like, and drop a comment. Let me know what you want to see next. Before we get to the video, I want to let you know that into the description, we have a free resource for you that's absolutely incredible. It's called the Home Studio Setup Guide, and it breaks down exactly how a home studio setup works and how you can make the most out of your home studio setup. Download that now. We're going to absolutely rock this video today. Let's dive right in. All right, so glasses, I got to see my screen here. Okay, so here's what's up. We got this little track that I put together the other day, and it's basically just a really simple beat with a rap vocal on top. It sounds like this.
These brothers my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ I, now I gotta roll with ice. No rush, go move dumb, back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace and gloves. Now you gotta do a run up.
All right, so that's basically what's going on, and we're gonna start with a very common effect that you've probably heard of before. It's called a delay throw. So here's how that's gonna work. Right now on my vocals, I just have these 2 vocals. I have the lead and the lead vocal X. The lead vocal X just means crossover of this main lead vocal, okay? Just to give you guys some context, you can see the vocal crosses over into each other. I don't want to put them on the same track because they'll be cutting each other off. So I have a duplicate with the exact same settings, and it's just a lead vocal crossover. So don't get freaked out by these 2 different tracks. That's all that's going on there. What we're gonna do is show you guys the mixer page. I've got a little bit of basic stuff going on. I just got a little bit of width. I'm using micro shift to add a little bit of width to each of the lead vocals, but that's no big deal. Don't stress about it. The other thing is we got a reverb here, and we're going to be using the reverb just to enhance a couple of our effects, including this vocal delay throw that we're going to do. So what we're going to do first is go to new track, and I got to bring this window up so you can see it. And we're going to add a track. We're going to call it vocal delay throw. Okay. It's going to be stereo. We're going to solo safe it, and we're going to send it to our mix bus where everything else is going, okay? And what I'm going to do is put right on this track a delay plugin. We're going to use H delay from Waves, okay? And I'm going to show you guys how I dial in these settings in just a moment. But first, we're going to go back to our mixer page and show you guys what we're going to do. With a delay throw, you want to pick certain words, just certain words to emphasize. You don't want the whole vocal going to the delay throw because it's going to create all this crazy pandemonium of just too many delays all over the place. So we're going to pick select words, throw it to that delay throw using this send, okay? That's how it works. We throw this send. We're going to automate the send to throw certain delay words, and those will be delayed back to us. So let's have a listen to this vocal. We're going to pick a couple words here and there. You don't want to go overboard with this, and we're going to subtly send them to this delay throw that we're setting up, okay? So let's have a listen and pick some words.
These brothers my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die.
All right, let's do die right here. Okay, so I'm going to highlight it.
Die.
And I'm going to go here to the automation area, okay? And I'm going to bring this up. I can bring it up all the way and then bring it down after, but I don't want to blow your guys' ears out, so I'm just going to bring it to 0, which is called unity gain, and that's always a good place to send from, okay? So check it out.
Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side.
Did you hear that? Let's solo it. It's coming through into our delay.
Ride or die. I keep boys by my side.
Problem is, this is a bit too fast. So we have our BPM set. That's great. But we got to maybe go with something like a quarter note here. And I'm going to set this on ping pong, so it's going to bounce across our ears left to right. Let's have a listen.
That they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. CJ Ike.
See how the quarter note worked a lot better? It's right on the beat. Quarter note always sounds good with a delay throw. So let's dial in a high pass and low pass. And what this does is it shaves off the low end and the high end to give us more of a radio filtered type of sound that we're going to try out here. Let's have a listen.
Fly. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. CJ Ike.
Add a little more highs.
Fly. No, ride or die. I keep boys by my side. CJ Ike.
Okay, sweet. So that's sounding pretty cool. I like the quarter note. We're going to pick a couple other words here to try out.
Ike. Now I got to roll with ice.
All right, so let's do us right here, okay? Oops, I'm just going to switch to slip mode. I'm going to grab this guy, bring it up to 0, okay?
I got to roll with ice.
All right, and let's pick one more from this crossover.
No rush, go and move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace.
All right, so I also got to get this delay throw going on this track. Let's check it out.
Ice, no rush, go and move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace and gloves. Now you got to do a run up.
All right, let's just do the right now, okay? Deal right now.
Run up. My name came up, run up.
Okay. And that is how you do a delay throw.
Do a run up. My name came up, it sound.
Here's how we're going to make this even better before we get to the next tip. And that is, did you hear the ping pong, how it was really wide? One trick that I figured out is it sounds a little better, I think, if you dial the panning in just a little bit, something like 60, 50, 45. And then we're going to send this I'm just going to copy this reverb over. We're going to send the delay throw to a little bit of this little plate reverb that I set up. And it's just going to make that delay a little bit more wet and help it sit nicely in the background.
Do a run up. My name came up, do a run up. My name came up, it sound. Do a run up. My name came up, it sound.
All right, I think overall these delay throws are too loud. So what I'm going to do is just bring it down a little bit here, okay? You could bring it down from the send or whatever, but this is just a little easier for me to do right now because I have a couple from this track. I have one here, and this is just a quicker move, okay?
I keep boys by my side. CJ.
Here's one more way you can spice up this delay throw. We're going to add something called Little Altar Boy. All right? This is something I figured out a little while ago to make the delays a little more interesting. Okay, so we're going to solo this. And we're going to play it. And what I'm going to do is use this formant knob just to change the formant of the delay a little bit.
I don't die. I keep boys by my side.
Let's bring it way down just so you can hear with context.
I don't die. I keep boys by my side. CJ.
Did you hear that?
I don't die. I keep boys by my side. CJ.
That's more higher pitch. I like to bring it down just a tiny bit, like maybe like 1.5, just to keep it interesting. And you can drive it a little bit with saturation too, which sounds pretty good.
I don't die. I keep boys by my side. CJ Ike. Now I got to roll with ice.
All right, so that's optional if you want to do a formant shift. That's something I've been doing lately on some mixes, and it just sounds killer, okay? So that's version number 1, technique number 1. Let's dive into technique number 2. All right, technique number 2. We were just talking about formant shifting, and we're going to do that a little more aggressively this time, and we're going to do it on our lead vocal. So I'm loading up a plugin on our lead vocal here called Little Altar Boy, okay? And it's the one that we were just looking at a moment ago. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this formant, okay, in this technique to make our vocal a little more interesting and to help emphasize and screw up with a few words here and there. So have a listen.
Know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side.
Okay, so what I want to do is automate this formant. I'm going to click Control Option Command in Pro Tools, but any DAW has different ways to do this. You just look it up for your DAW, and I'm going to make sure, it looks like I already enabled it, so I'm going to disable it so I can show you. I'm going to enable the automation, okay, for this. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my window here, and I'm going to click Formant, which is the thing that I enabled automation for. Here's my automation line, and now I can draw in automation and mess with my formant. So just like have a listen, just for example.
Oh, these brothers my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride.
Did you hear that?
These brothers my guys, know that they fly, know that they...
I'm just doing when you do this on your song, like spend time really figuring it out, which words it works best on. This is just for the purpose of demonstration, so you can see what's possible.
Know that they ride or die, I keep...
Let's bring this way down.
Know that they ride or die, I keep... They ride or die, I keep...
Let's try like a slow Formant shift down like this right here.
I keep boys by my side. CJ Ike. Now I got.
See how cool that sounds? So go through your song. Don't overuse this. If you overuse it, it's going to just sound a little too comedic if you're overusing it. But if you use it strategically and just on certain words, it's going to sound really, really cool. That's technique number 2, Formant shifting. It sounds like this.
Cold, these brothers my guys. Know that they fly. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. CJ Ike. Now I got to roll with ice.
It's kind of cool. We're now combining that delay throw, some Formant shifting. Let's move on to technique number 3. Okay, technique number 3 is going to be a telephone filter. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to strategically pick a moment in the song where the vocal is going to switch to the telephone sound, and I'm going to show you exactly how to dial it in. So let's have a listen maybe from here, okay?
Keep boys by my side. CJ Ike. Now I got to roll with ice. No rush, go move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love.
Okay.
I keep boys by my side.
I think if we hit this second half of the verse here with the filter, it's going to sound great. So I've already loaded up this Pro Q3, but I'm gonna redo it just so we're doing it from scratch together. Okay. So I'm bringing up a Pro Q3 here. Let me just default this. All right. So what we're gonna do is the idea is to filter out the lows. Okay, and filter out the highs. You can do this with any EQ. It doesn't have to be Pro Q3. Do not get spooked by the Pro Q3 if you don't have it. There are amazing EQs. You can use whatever you want. And you're going to boost kind of around here, around 1K to 2K. And then it's going to give you a filter that sounds like this.
No rush, go move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace.
Pretty sweet, right? So, you can tweak this how you want. Fab Filter has its own preset that looks like this, and you can tweak this how you want too.
No rush, go move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace and gloves. Now you gotta do it right now. No rush, go.
So depending how your vocal sounds, you can tweak that filter, and that's basically the idea. High pass, low pass, you're gonna get a phone sound. Okay, but what we want to do is now I have this on this track. I don't want this whole track to have this filter. I think it's going to be it's going to be too much to have half the verse with a telephone filter. So guess what I have to do again? I have to automate this. So we're going to go to this bypass here. I'm going to go Control, Option, Command, and I'm going to click Enable Automation. Okay. So now we're going to go over here and I'm going to enable the automation. And I was thinking these first few lines would work pretty well. So let's just hear what I want to automate.
No rush, go move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace.
Probably like after make your right here. So I'm gonna bring the track around it up so that you can see it's bypassed, but when I click in here, the effect is applied with Pro Q3, okay? So we automated that just to turn on. Make sure that your edit here, where you have this bypass happening, make sure it's not happening during a word like this, because that's gonna cause a pop or it's just gonna sound bizarre because your effect switches partway through a word. You want this to be a transparent switch. So make sure your edit is in between words really carefully, okay? So let's have a listen to how this sounds.
I keep boys by my side. CJ Ike. Now I gotta roll with ice. No rush, go move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace and gloves. Now you gotta do it right now.
Okay, so that's the idea there. All right. I think it sounds pretty awesome, and if you use that, you can use it on just specific words, or you can use it on parts of phrases. It's a really cool effect, and it's definitely a staple, but you got to know it. So that's number 3, telephone vocal. All right, next one we're gonna do is a stutter lead-in. This is technique number 4. Let's check it out. All right, so this stutter technique is something that I kind of figured out on my own after listening to a bunch of music with similar effects and thinking, wow, I got to figure out how to do that. And ever since I figured it out, I've been using this on a ton of songs since, and artists love it every time. It sounds so, so cool. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to waveform view here, and we're going to do an effect using the beginning of a word, and it's going to be this cool lead-in effect, okay? So what I'm going to do is bring up, I created a couple different tracks here that are just duplicates. This track here is just a duplicate of the lead vocal track. So duplicate your lead vocal track, and I'm going to leave that filter on for later. We're going to use that later. Here's what you want. You want to grab the beginning of the very first word, okay? Maybe the first half of the word, okay? I'm gonna go into grid mode to grab this. Actually, I'm gonna grab a little more. I think this is the word cool, okay? And listen really carefully when you do it so that you're actually grabbing like a good part of the word. Okay, and we're gonna do something that looks a little bit like this. I'm gonna just paste, oh, hold up a sec. I'm gonna paste that here, okay? And I'm just checking my settings. I'm gonna paste it twice, okay? We're pasting like 2/16 notes. And that's gonna do this like quick stutter lead in. And I'm also gonna paste it up here, but I'm gonna paste a little bit longer version of the word. I'm gonna paste it again there. Okay, so here's what this sounds like. I have kind of an 8th note, an 8th note, and 2 quick 16th notes at the beginning of this word. Here's what it sounds like. I'm gonna unmute this so you guys can hear it. So already, without even adding some sauce to it like we're about to do, it's sounding really, really cool. The only sauce I'm gonna add on this guy is we're gonna bring up this telephone filter again that we just talked about. So you guys should know how to do this already because we're going in order. You're gonna put on this telephone filter on this effects right here. And so part of the stutter, the reason I don't do it like this, you're probably wondering why I don't do it like this. The reason why is because I only want the telephone effects on this first 8th note and these 2 16th notes because it sounds really cool when it switches back and forth from telephone to non-telephone. So I put the non-telephone up top. Have a listen. Sweet, right? Here's the next thing we're gonna do. We're gonna pan this track right. Okay, this is the one with the telephone filter. It's gonna be panned. Okay. And one other thing you might want to do is if these are like clicking and popping for you, make sure to carefully add fades on them. All right. And that's going to help you out if you're getting like clicking and popping. Make sure to do your edits carefully. Don't rush through it like it's part of a video, okay? Spend time getting these down, okay? But this is just an example. And when I mix, I really fine tune these too. Okay, so check that out. It's sounding pretty sweet. It's panned. And what we're going to do with this one, okay, this one up here, we're going to pan that left. I'm just grabbing part of the track because this is our lead vocal here. I want the lead vocal effects on this piece, but I don't want the rest of the lead vocal pan left. I want that in the middle. So I'm automating the panning that way, okay? Just for that word. Okay, so we're going to have this. Sweet, right? This is now this is a little bit too loud. I want it to be quieter. And then it hits full volume here. You see what I mean? So let's check it out. And what's going to make this a little better is a gradual fade in on these. It adds a little bit of urgency. We go like that. It just leads it in and then that beat hits hard. It's going to sound great. So let's check it out. The last thing we're going to do is add a little bit of vocal reverb onto this. Right now I think it's bypass. So I'm going to just bring in that vocal reverb and we're going to have a little bit of reverb come in on these stutters. I think that's going to sound great. Sweet, right? If I wanted to, I could add a little bit of reverb here as well. This is bypass, so I have to not have it bypass. I want the rest of my vocal dry, so I'm gonna have the whole thing dry except for this one effect. You could do this whole piece on its own track and then you don't have to automate it. You can do that too. But this is kind of how it's all gonna sound when it's done. All right, maybe a little bit less. That sounds insane. All right, so that's technique number 4, stutter intro. And let's dive into technique number 5. I think you guys are going to love this one, okay? We're going to move down here to the end of the song where we have this chorus section, and we're going to do another stutter kind of effect, but it's going to go really fast, and it's going to sound really crazy. There's going to be some reverse reverb and some panning, but don't get freaked out by that. It's actually really easy, and I'm going to break it down for you right now. So let's have a listen. There's a little space here, okay? I think we have a delay throw from earlier.
Now you gotta do a run up.
So what we're going to do is bring that delay throw down, okay? Because I don't want it to get in the way of what we're going to do. We're going to do something really cool in this space. So
Now you gotta do a run up. My name came up.
we're putting that more in the background, really quiet. It could go even quieter. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the beginning of this phrase. This is the chorus. Sounds like this.
My name came up a lot of sounds. More when I was not around.
All right, and I think I actually have an old telephone vocal here that we just heard. I'm gonna mute that. What we want to do is grab the beginning of the word that happens on the one. A big mistake you could make is you're trying to do this and you're going to try and grab this first word. You don't actually want to grab the first word because it's not going to line up right when you create this stutter. You want to grab the word that's on the one. And in this case, it's this. It's name. My name. Okay, so have a listen.
My name came up a lot.
You want name. Okay, so I'm going to just grab literally a 16th note of the name. Okay, and like I said before, find the edit spot, grab it carefully, make sure it's right. I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste it here onto, actually, I'm going to bring up a different track because we're going to do some different effects on this one, okay? We're going to put it right here onto this one. I don't know what this little Ultra Boy's for. I'm actually going to take that off. This is literally an identical copy of the lead vocal track that's right here, okay? So I'm going to grab a copy and I'm going to paste it onto the track below called vocal effects. Okay, and we're going to do something cool with this vocal effects track. It's the same settings as this vocal. I did remove that Ultra Boy, but what we're going to do is we're going to paste about 6 16th notes going into this, and I'm going to fade them. Just going to do a quick Command F on here. Just crossfade them so they don't click and pop as they play. Here's what that sounds like. It already sounds cool, and we haven't even added the sauce. So let's add the sauce, okay, guys? What's going on here? We got some automation panning that happened when I pasted that. I want to make sure that this is centered. Good. Okay, so we got those 16th notes going on, and what we're going to do is we're going to add, to start, a reverse reverb. Okay, so I'm going to grab our verb. I'm going to just click through here until the first reverse reverb. This is going to be fine for what we're doing. And right now it's on 100% wet. Here's what that sounds like. All right, so it's too much obviously, but we do want it pretty wet. So I'm going to dial it back to maybe like 70 or 80. Sweet, right? And the reason it's okay, usually I will recommend putting a reverb on a send, so you send to the reverb. But in this case, we're using this entire vocal effects track right here. We're using it as its own kind of creative effects track. And in this case, it's okay to put the reverb on just directly on the track because that's all it's being used for. And it's totally cool, all right? The other reason is because we're gonna add a panning plugin right afterwards. If you don't have a panning plugin in your DAW, you don't have Sound Toys or whatever, don't freak out. Just automate a lot of quick panning within this track, okay? And the reason I'm putting it after the reverb, probably you're wondering, that's a little crazy, right? Yes, it is. And the reason I'm doing it is because it's gonna pan the reverb around too. And that's gonna sound really, it's very disorienting, but it makes this really cool, this effect for this rap, okay? So what I wanna do is the rate determines how fast this plugin works. So I want a fast rate. You see this smoothing here? This is like how much it leans one way and pops back. I wanna put that to soft so it's even, okay? Or at least more even. I'm gonna get it really wide to the max, all the way left, all the way right. I'm gonna have a fast rate. And here's what it sounds like. Crazy, right? It's just like, it's weird and it feels like it's wrong, but it sounds so good. And yeah, that's exactly what we want. Okay, last thing I'm gonna do is gradual crescendo because that's gonna help give it the momentum going to this chorus. Here's what it sounds like. Okay, and do you hear that reverb bringing out? We don't really want that. We want the reverb happening during the effect, but we want to kind of get rid of it after. So we go right back into this dry vocal feel, that crispy dry vocal. All right, overall, this track could be a little bit too loud, so I'm going to bring it down. And here's what we got. And that's technique number 5. All right, guys, so let's have a listen to everything and hear all of these effects together. There's a lot going on, and if you're doing this as an actual song, you probably want to space it out more and use it strategically. But for the sake of this video, let's put it all together and enjoy some of these effects. Here we go.
These brothers my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep word on my sword, CJ act, now I gotta roll with
guys, so that's what's up. That's what's up. We just did 5 rap mixing effects that are going to absolutely change your game and make your songs sound incredible. I'm so glad that you joined me on this video today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, subscribe to the channel. That really helps us out. Like and comment, and also don't forget to go check out the description where you can download the free home studio setup guide. I think you're absolutely going to love it. It's going to shed a lot of light on how a home studio setup works, tell you a bit of my story, and just get you in the loop on everything. So thanks again for checking out this video, and we're going to see you again next time. Peace.